Once you get the audio that you want, you're going to put it into your editor. Here I'm using Amadeus Pro as a editor. You can use Studio Tools or Soundtrack or any available that's on the Macintosh. I prefer Amadeus Pro because it is a rather simple, low memory device application, and is really suited to freeing up some of the other um, types of processes that are going to have to be going on. I have about 20 megs in my computer. Down on audio units, I'm going to bring down the FLUX picture and sound development. We're going to go down to do a restoration of a 1947 record by Blumlien-Weed. It's called Fun and Fancy Free. It's been transferred using a 3mm diamond stylus. Left and right channels were done in series, and so it came out on the left channel predominantly. That is because of the stereo cartridges that are available today don't really have the full mono capability of the left and right. It's at a vector of a 45-degree angle. Let's get back here to, I'm going to put in the pure expander, which is quite a nice tool. As I get into the whole enchilada here, it is quite an imposing control panel, but it has the basic attack and hold mechanisms, the timings of the attacks and the hold for the compression and the release modes. I'm using it as a manual. The release is about 13 milliseconds, and what this called is in a pre-preset, non-preset default. I've already done this little bit experimenting here, so I'm going to run the file. If you see I'm down here on the left, I'm going to run a preview on it. And you're going to hear the needle drop on the record, and then we will experiment a little bit. Now the input gain was set at about 5 dB. It is running a little bit over the 0 dB. So you might want to bring this down just a little bit here, just to keep it from going into the over clipping modes. The output gains, I'm going to adjust this here, and you're going to watch this full scale go up and down here, and you can actually adjust the input and the output gains together, so it really comes into a into a linear mode here. Now you'll see that the noise is down here. When we're in the MS mode, here is the off mode. The mid side is A plus B times the cosine of theta. And this is one of the things that Alan Blumlein did, and I actually had reinvented it back in the 70s. Now, as I go through the changes here of the MS, I'm going towards the mid, and this is the output of the mid side, and you're going to hear it become more clear. But also the noise is, now you can see the noise disappear. Now you're also watching the full scale dB here and keeping it in their respective boundaries of electronics. So here's at 0. We can turn this off. Turning it on. Now we're going to do basically a vocal expander. That's what we're looking at right now. Now it's up to the subjective point of where the listener is listening to the noise versus the sibilance, which I'm trying to get out or extract out of the very granular 78 record. I've already pre-processed this in using click repair and other processes to remove the broadband noise. And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of getting this to be released. Now, the rest of these dynamic factors and dynamic velocities are really, in an old record like this, really is not that important. On the bottom control thing we have here, let me go back and start this again. And we've selected minus 2.5 dB. And you can see here's the peak meters. And you can see the side where the noise is really, really way down in there. Now I'm going to come over here on the left panel. I'm going to bypass it and see what you think. You can hear the difference in the noise ratio has pretty well been subjected down into minus 70 dB. There's a few granular clicks that you're going to have difficulty getting out without using a click repair, or CDAR is a good way to do it. Now let's go over here to the main screen, and you can see that it is operating in a pretty good linear fashion. This is the linear curve here, and this is the resulting let me just bring this up a little bit here. You can see this, the output needs to be adjusted around 0 dB. Now that you've got a pretty good idea how this works, what I'm going to do is run the apply button on it, and it will go through its processes. And you'll notice it did drop down a little bit, and you can go now and play the editor. And another thing to bring that back out here. Okay, I'm just playing the beginning of it again. Okay, now what I'm going to do is go back to FLUX picture and sound and FLUX picture and sound development. Go to Elixir 3, and we're going to bring up this volume level here, which we had. No, we're going to go to, say, let's go to 6 dB stages, and we're going to preview it. And this will, you notice the noise is way down. Changing it to a 4 stage. Okay, now we're going to apply it and get it so it's pretty good. Now we're going to be looking at the processing going on here. It's pretty complex and takes a few seconds to render it. But it's basically, we've already auditioned it, and now you're going to see that it's going to be dropping back. We're going to analyze the waveform statistics, and there are no clippings, and it's minus 6 dB, and the average is minus 16 dB. So all we're going to do is pretty well eliminated all the noise. Well, that's it for the advanced audio class, and we'll see you next week.